Building a Lego set is a joyous experience, isn't it? You assemble the pieces, bring your creation to life, and then it's time to display it or even play with it. Ah, the joys of Lego. But now, let's dive into a bit of uncharted territory to an often neglected area of our Lego lives, and that is the world of Lego set instruction manuals. Now for me, boxes are too large to collect personally, especially when you have over 700 Lego sets, but when it comes to the instructions, those are fairly easy to collect and they take up a considerably less amount of space. Now most instructions aren't very collectible, but for the sets that are rarer, older, or more sought after, the instructions can be quite collectible. For example, if you wanted to buy the instructions for the Black Pearl in new condition off of Bricklink, you'd currently have to pay an average of $80 just for the instructions. So what do you do with the instructions? Do you throw them away? I mean, after all, they're all available digitally anyways. Do you store them in a box or a cabinet and hope they don't get bent or damaged? How do you find them when you need just one instruction in a sea of over 700 instruction manuals? Do you organize them by theme or collection so you can find them easier and faster if you ever need them again? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how I, an adult collector of Lego, store and organize my Lego instructions to make them easier to find, while also protecting the booklets of the more valuable sets so that I can maintain their value in the long run as a part of my collection.
All right, so this is how I actually store and organize my Lego instructions or manuals. I use comic book boxes, so these are the magazine sized comic book boxes, and I'll show you kind of the difference between the sizes here in just a moment. But I use that just to make sure, because I like to have all the instructions in one place. I don't want to have different sized boxes for different sized instructions, so I just use the magazine sized boxes for this. And as you can see, it keeps things super organized. I've got labels on here, and then you can actually see all the instructions are actually in here. So these are some comic book sized ones where you can see they're a little bit smaller than your magazine sized one, for example. So what I do is I have my instruction booklet here. I put a comic board on the bottom of it. I put a comic bag around it, and I just put a little piece of tape on the top. I am not really concerned about actually getting them out of here. I just keep them in here to have them organized so I know where to find them immediately. I mean, when you have 700 plus sets, you also have 700 plus instruction manuals. In some cases, sets even come with 2 or 3 or even 4 instruction manuals per set. So this just helps keep things really organized. What I'll do is I will put, multiple instruction manuals for the same set. So this is Helm's Deep that I believe had 4 instruction manuals. So I've got all 4 of them in this one box. Sometimes there's so many instructions that you can't actually fit them all in one thing. So you might have to kind of branch out. But this is what I do. I used to just throw them in a tub. But then, the ends can get creased, they can get ripped. When they get moved around, and then all of a sudden you just need more tubs. The tubs get really heavy. So this is, there's only so many that you can fit in each one of these bins. And this is just a really good way to organize it. I've got a few other of these containers, just not pictured in my closet where I store them. But I just wanted to kind of show you kind of what all this looks like. You can get so much more fancy comic book boxes, but I just stick with the regular cardboard ones because they're the cheapest and they look fine. I don't need them to look fancy or anything. And then like I mentioned, I use all these labels. So I've got Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, etc. And I think I've got like a Marvel box over here. Yeah, that looks like some of the Marvel stuff in there. And I've got just a little bit of extra room in some of these. So I got gift with purchase, some city sets. Let's see what else. Fairground, holiday. So yeah, I've got everything nice and organized like that. And really the main reason I do that is because as a collector, the instructions are actually worth something and can be quite expensive, like I mentioned, for some of the more rare and more chase sets. And as a collector, when I buy used sets, I don't care too much personally about having the box. I know a lot of people like to have the box with that used set because it's kind of the proof of purchase, like you actually purchased the set, it's not fake. or you didn't just, throw this together from spare parts and you're missing all the exclusive parts. Like, you own this set. For me, that's why I keep the instructions, because I feel like it serves the same purpose as owning the box personally. That's just me personally. So I like to keep my instructions in mint condition. I also think it's fun to go back in time and look at different Lego instructions from over the years and how they've actually changed. So what you will need is all right here, and again, this is just how I do it. So I have the comic book dividers. I just write the name up top there. Those are comic book sized, of course. And then I have the magazine. So I have the poly bags right here, and then I've actually got the boards right here too. So 8.5 by 11. This is the brand that I prefer. And then these are the magazine bags that go with the boards. And then I also have the comic book bag size, because there are so many of the sets have smaller instruction booklets. I went ahead and got this. I didn't want to have like 6 or 10 different sizes for every single instructions, but this is a significantly more use of plastic and fine paper. So rather than waste some of that material, and that takes up more space because they're a little bit thicker, I have these here too, so that I can use these for the smaller bags. And then what I do here for the tiny instructions, for example, the microfighters, I've got a little divider in there. So I've got 3 of them in each. I would try to do 4, but I can't quite find a divider that will fit them. So that way I'm not just throwing one of those tiny instructions in there. I've got 3 instructions in there, for example, for the microfighter. So that's how I deal with the tiny and smaller instructions. And yeah, so again, that's everything that you need. I actually have a third size that's not pictured here. It's the extra large magazine, or sorry, just extra large boards and extra large bags. The only reason I have those is because some of the vintage sets actually use really large instructions that are larger than the magazine boards. So I have to use them for that. Some of the original Star Wars sets, some of the old Western sets, for example. So those are in a plastic tub. Those Western instructions are pretty expensive now too. So I've got those in just a separate tub to just keep them protected, so that I'm not getting them wet, not getting them crinkled up, not ripping the pages. And then that way I'm keeping everything in a nice and clean and prestige condition. So that is how I actually organize my Lego instructions or my Lego manuals. It's really not a commonly talked about, I don't want to say issue, but part of collecting is what do you do with all of the instruction manuals. So I thought I'd make this video just to share what I do kind of as an adult collector of Lego. And I personally care about the instructions myself. I know a lot of people will just throw them away because they're totally digital, but I don't like to do that. I like to keep it as kind of part of the whole package, part of the whole collecting experience. And this is what I do to keep my instructions in good condition as well as organized. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer any and all of the questions that I receive. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.